Hi, today is June 8th, 2026, and here are my poems for the day. The first one is poem number 883 for the year, Joan Mitchell's Synesthesia. At a very young age, Joan Mitchell's synesthesia enabled her to develop or discern a system whereby each letter had an associated color. In a documentary about her, when she was asked what A was, she immediately answered green. When she was asked why, she said, "Because it is. It's obvious." I must confess, it wasn't and isn't obvious to me, so I'm glad that Ms. Mitchell made a chart before she died. Apparently, she saw sounds as colors too. I wonder what A sounded like. Poem number 884, The Distribution. Something has been impossible since the beginning of possibility, and something else has been inevitable since the end of impossibility. They took whatever they could from whatever wasn't available, and offered unto others that which they would not give. Distribution took many forms, but always with the same result. Everything remained in the same hands as before the distribution began. Poem number 885, Tentacles. Her tentacles tantalized him in ways he hadn't imagined were possible. Her touch sparked a primal urge deep within him to return to the sea, to return to the home of his ancient ancestors. He could see and feel them crawling out of the sea, learning to breathe on the land, crawling, then walking. She snapped him out of his reverie by tightly encircling his neck. After she left, he noticed the marks that the suction cups had left all over his body. Poem number 886, Leftovers. It felt to him as though he had left a piece of himself in the bedroom of every man he had slept with. He didn't mind being used, in fact, he welcomed it, but now, after having had so many encounters, he wondered how much of himself was left. He wondered whether the men he met could tell how spent he was, could tell that he was merely leftovers. Still, the man he went home with on Saturday did an expert job of picking at his carcass and finding small but savory bits to enjoy, and he was relieved that it was still possible for someone to make a meal out of him. Poem number 887, Light. For a couple of weeks more, the days would continue to lengthen, and she vowed to capture as much light as she could on the canvases that she smeared and splattered and coated and basted with paint. Even in the darkest of her paintings, there was always an implication of June's seemingly endless light. She dipped her thinnest brush into the paint and leaned in close, adding the subtle details that would bring her latest work to completion. After working for several hours, she declared the work finished, and as there were still several hours left in the day, she ventured out into the streets and saw swirling colors and sharply defined lines, and infinite beauty and limitless light everywhere she looked. All right, that's it. Thank you. I appreciate you.